Buenos noches, amigos. Welcome to another episode of Not Another Sox podcast. We have our bonus pod tonight, our fantasy pod, going over some of the very unfortunate events from last week for very well-known point adjuster. Point adjuster Fitzgerald Mo Pena.
Here we go. It took you 25 seconds to bring out the cheating allegations again.
What do you mean allegations? I can pull all. I wore a suit.
I've admitted I slipped the official scorers a couple of I greased their palms to make sure that it gets me over the finish line. Happened in the championship game, won by 1 point because an error or a base hit that was charged to Connolly early in the last day of the regular season was changed to an error, and that pushed me over the line. And couldn't have done that without a little help from.
He's trying to put over the line. Yeah. No, that's awesome.
I couldn't have done it without my friend Benjamin Franklin to again grease those palms with the official scorer.
Yeah, really wrote that in. Why don't you tell everyone the final score, Fitz? You seem to really enjoy telling people that.
The final score of that championship game that I won last year.
No.
The game where I beat you in the semifinal last year in the playoff. That final score. Do you want that one?
No.
The final score of the game when I smoked you again in week 2 of this podcast. I swear to God, league.
Yes, that one. That's the one, Fitz.
I forget. We said it like 2 minutes ago. It was like 350 to like 215 or something like that.
Yeah, it
was a lot to still a good amount, but not a lot.
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't that much. Could happen to anyone. Could happen to any one of us.
It could.
Oh man, just rough early 3 weeks in fantasy for Ian. Played formerly Speedy Pat last week, since updated to I think it was Don't Call My Name Perdomo, which, you know what, to his credit, kind of funny. Ended up losing that one last week by just a few points. Week 3, just housed by the defending champ over at Pot on Lansdowne. Some absolutely stellar performances from your team. I would also like to point out some absolute bed shitters on my team, notably Max Scherzer twice last week posted negative points for me. Clown with his fucking clown ass, dude. Should he retire, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, it was already shaky at times last year. I mean, I guess I suppose in a fantasy context, if he can give you at least a bit of volume, he'll be okay, but clearly didn't give you enough volume over this past week. But it's early. You know, anything can happen over the stretch of this year. Anyone can end up with a championship ring like this that I actually did win from the Red Sox Podcasters League last year. It was definitely not given to me by my podcast co-host as a Fenway giveaway. It's definitely not a replica 2007 World Series ring. I actually got that from winning this league, and I plan on winning another one, as a matter of fact.
Wow. Yeah, no, the budget was really good last year. We had to make some cuts this year.
They couldn't get a T-shirt for Hogdale to wear because he came in last, and that was the deal. That's what I've been told. Hogdale owes me a Pot on Lansdowne show. Mr. Dale, Mr. Hogg, if you're listening to this, don't think I forgot.
Captain Hogg. Which, I mean, didn't that investment just like pay off for you in spades? Because technically, yes, he still needs to wear POL merch on his platform, which in the last year skyrocketed, working over with Barstool and streaming his own games to such a higher level than he was. I mean, I can think of few people not happy for what Hogdale has done in his Twitter career.
Oh yeah, he's blown up. Shout out to Hogdale. He's hilarious. And honestly, I might just hold on to that right to have him wear the shirt, because at this point he'll be on ESPN in a year or two, doing
wearing
the same exact thing. And that's an even bigger,
with the
right?
3 of you guys up there, just like
hold it. Yeah, I hold it for like 8 years. He's doing like election coverage on CNN. Like the entire nation is watching, and he's got a Pot on Lansdowne shirt on. That's the true end game of this. That's why we play fantasy baseball, folks.
3 a.m, sweating through the pits, right? And he's pointing all over the map wearing the POL shirt.
Watch out, Kornacki. Hogdale's coming for you.
Yeah, shout out Kornacki, famous listener of the NASP show. But of course, with the fantasy pod, a big part of what we're doing is, because it's your first time doing a fantasy pod, what your draft philosophy was, which I do have your draft order up, and then kind of how some of your team members performed last week. But let's start with your draft philosophy. Sure. Obviously, your number one overall was Bobby Witt, which is a great number one. Yeah, why Bobby is your number one?
I mean, I can get into the deeper philosophy because I have been thinking about this, and it might take a little to explain. I don't want to sound facetious explaining a fantasy baseball strategy, but there was a method to the madness. But at 4, I was 4 out of 16 in the draft order, and of course it's snake, so I had a long wait for my second pick. But at 4, it was a matter of getting Juan Soto or Bobby Witt. I forget who. I don't know if Soto probably went 3rd. If it went Ohtani, Judge, or
so
was
it went Judge, Soto,
Oh,
Ohtani the batter, and then Bobby Witt 4th.
Gotcha.
And then
it's just
Paul
the talent.
Skeens.
He's a 30-30 plus potential 40-40 on his best year type of player. He's one of the best players in baseball. He can contribute any sort of way. He gets on base, steals, can drive and runs, at the top of the order, going to get a lot of at-bats, going to get a lot of run opportunities. It's a premier player at shortstop. So I hammered that for sure as the first pick.
Do you think the shortstop pool is small? Do you tend to go for your smaller pool players with high production first, or do you tend to just go points?
That kind of rolls into my general philosophy going into this draft. Typically not, and I'll explain why in a moment, but sometimes it's like, just take the best player available. Sometimes you don't want to overthink it. I will say, 16 teams is a lot of fucking teams in a fantasy baseball. Like 16's a lot.
Yes.
And you realize that pretty quickly when you get into a draft. You realize it's round 7 and you're already in the triple digits for overall pick. My philosophy in terms of fantasy sports, and I've learned this mainly from fantasy football. I love fantasy football. I play more fantasy football than I do fantasy baseball, as a matter of fact.
Gasp.
But, listening, I know, right? Yeah, sacrilegious of me. It's blasphemy. But reading enough guys who do this for a living, listening to enough podcasts and guys talk about this, having done fantasy sports long enough, I've kind of gotten a philosophy, and it's, again, mainly from fantasy football. It's not exactly apples to baseball, but there are things to learn from it. Say you're in a 10-team fantasy football league, right? Start 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 1 tight end, a flex, and then kicker and defenses, whatever. You just take that at the back of the draft. Simple enough of a lineup that everyone starts 10 teams.
Of course.
Just about everyone's going to have a good running back room, right? It's only a 10-team league. It's a relatively smaller league. 8 teams, absolutely, forget it. Everyone's got a good running back room. Everyone's got a couple of good receivers. By proxy of that, you probably have a good flex. So the question becomes, where do you differentiate your team? You differentiate it at your tight end and in your quarterback, but mainly tight end at that point. That is where what the Fantasy Footballers podcast calls your onesie positions. In a smaller league, that's where you get your advantage. Because if everyone's going to have equal running backs and wide receivers, you have to make up the differences at quarterback or at tight end. Now say you're in a 14-team league. You can go ahead, right? Same thing. 1 quarterback, 1 tight end, 2 receivers, 2 backs, and a flex. You can pick Trey McBride at tight end in the first round, or Brock Bowers, right? You could pick Josh Allen round 2 as your quarterback. And set it and forget it. Josh Allen, amazing quarterback. The thing is, sometimes in these drafts, Ian, it's not about who you're drafting. It's about who you're not drafting. You can have that nice tight end in a 14-team league, but only one team out of 14 has Trey McBride. You take Trey McBride early on to be your tight end, that's great, but what are you going to do for your running back situation? Round 2, okay, fine, I take a running back who's solid, could be a low-end running back 1, but doesn't have a huge ceiling there. Then, oh shit, more receivers are coming off the board. Round 3, okay, I can double up, maybe I could double tap here for running back. What are you going to do with receivers? In a bigger league, all that is to say, in a bigger league, you have to get your meat and potatoes done. So I got Bobby Witt there at shortstop. What were my next couple of picks? Rattle off the next 3 picks.
So you started Bobby Witt was your number 1. Your number 2 was Yordan Alvarez.
Outfielder.
Your number 3 was James Wood.
Outfielder.
4, Cody Bellinger.
Outfielder. In this league,
5,
just so folks
Ben
know,
Rice. Yep,
right?
Continue.
And also Ben Rice was a cheat code. He's a first baseman, but he has catcher eligibility. That was
cheater. Cheat code. Go ahead.
Cheating. Don't hate to play, hate the game.
Yeah, did the coding. You did the coding.
And the other side,
Yahoo,
a quick side note. I just say that because Justin pointed this out last episode. I listened to it, so I'm not telling any tales out of school. I was going to keep this close to the chest, but now it's out there. The fact that holds are the exact same as saves in this league, people who are taking closers round 9, I'm sorry, but that's free there. Like, why would I pay up? I mean, unless it's Mason Miller, who's a complete anomaly, you know what I mean? By and large, why am I going to go out and go get a, Razel Iglesias or Devin Williams or something like that when I could just wait 10 rounds and just take, a guy who's going to end up with
I think you pulled Hunter Gaddis pretty late.
Hunter Gaddis, well, he was an IL stash. I think he was my last pick, and then he's going to come back. He's going to get 20-something holds, and those count the same as saves. But the point is, in a larger league, 16 teams, if I were to say, and not to say, I know he's off to a slow start, but if I took Cal Raleigh in this league, first round or second round or whatever, that's a good catcher, but now I get my second pick, and then I have to wait a long time for 3 and 4 when I have to fill out 3 outfield spots. Every day I get 3 outfield spots, so my strategy going into it is like, I'm not leaving the first 5 rounds without at least having a starting outfield. Because do I punt on third base? Sure, maybe. Do I punt on second base? Yeah, probably, perhaps. Only one team can have Ketel Marte. Only one team can have Jose Ramirez. Only one team could have Jazz or something like that. You know what I mean? Over at those positions. I'm not going to get caught with my pants down in the outfield, and I'm not going to get caught with my pants down with the pitching staff. Now, a lot of that is also pitching streaming as well that I very much like to use in this league for sure. But right after the outfielders and the Ben Rice pick, I peppered pitching for the most part. It's like, okay, I'm going to find production at the corners for power. I'm going to take Isaac Paredes a bit later if he's falling, which he did. Hope to get like 20 homers out of him. But the meat and potatoes of the team is emphasizing the outfield. Took my 4th outfielder, Stephen Kwan, as a utility guy, knowing like, okay, well, there's going to be off days in there. If Cody Bellinger is going to be off, or if Jordan's going to have an off day, just slide Stephen Kwan in there in a points league when he's going to get on base a lot and be a solid enough of a hitter. So that was my general philosophy going into it. To give you another example, just quickly, please. I'm in a 10-team fantasy league that my cousin runs. I picked 10th out of 10. 2 guys I just named. I double tapped in a smaller league. No corner positions either. No middle infield or corner infield. So it's like, again, everyone's going to have a pretty good shortstop for the most part. And I got Gunner round 3. So there you go. I double tapped first pick.
Round 3? Jeez.
Crazy.
Insane.
Cal Raleigh and Ketel Marte. Because in a 10-team league, I thought, okay, I'm probably going to have the best catcher here. Hasn't panned out, but thought process was there. And then I'm also going to have probably the best second baseman, Ketel Marte, who's already hit 2 home runs tonight, just to give you an idea. So a very long-winded way of explaining what my philosophy was going into this draft, Ian.
I think there's a lot of good insight in that. And I think the other important thing, and kind of what crossed my mind when you mentioned Stephen Kwan, who you drafted 9th, I think like 130. Yeah, he was 132 overall. Killer value. Doesn't strike out a lot, which in fantasy leagues matters, right? Like I got Adolis Garcia, who has a ton of pop on the bat. He gets on base, but he strikes out a lot. So I get to counter those like 7 and 8 point games with like -1 and -2 point games. Overall, you're looking at a guy that produces, 4 to 7 points in any period of time. Right?
And you can't just get all on base savants in a points league, right? At some point you do have to open yourself up to some volatility where, okay, you're going to have those golden sombrero games every now and again. You're going to have a day where a guy goes 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts, doesn't drive anyone in. But to push you over the top, you need to open yourself up to that volatility where this guy, he could strike out 3 times a game. He could also get like 6 total bases, drive in 3 runs, like any given day. If you just pick all the Stephen Kwans in the world, that's very nice, but your upside is very limited, and upside at the end of the day does help you win fantasy championships.
It does, because guys come out of the woodwork every year and show you something, right? Like Tarek Skubal was a good pitcher, but when he started becoming a good pitcher, like now he's unstoppable, right? Came out of the woodwork, you pick him up early enough, and he's going to produce for you. And clearly,
I traded him in a dynasty league once when I was going for a championship.
Oh,
push, and it did
no.
not work. Do you want to guess the pitcher? It was 1 for 1. I needed a pitcher who was up, like, and performing fairly well at the time. This was 2021, I believe.
2021 pitcher you traded
maybe
Tarek
two,
Skubal
but I think
for.
one.
Oh, was it Alek Manoah?
Frankie Montas.
Ah,
In a dynasty keep forever.
oh,
I've had some great
no.
deals in that league. That was not one of them.
No, it certainly was not.
No.
Why? What happened? What happened after that? I'm just
He
fucking with
died
you,
on his
Fitz.
way
We
back
all
to his
know.
home planet. Yeah, Frankie Montas.
So then here's one of my favorite draft questions to ask is who was your most valuable draft in your draft order?
That's a good question. I mean, I not to toot my own horn, I have had a couple of good hits later in the draft this year here. And it's tough to say who is the most valuable, but to give a shout to the guy who on Pod on Lansdowne I said is going to win Rookie of the Year, Sal Stewart, man. Sal Stewart, to be able to plug him in there. It's been really, really nice so far. Alec Burleson has been great too. To be able to plug him in either an outfield or a first base spot, the way he's been swinging the bat, he's been real good. But where I got Stewart, there were like 3 or 4 times where I was about to pull the trigger on Sal Stewart in that draft, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, don't think anyone's going to touch him. I think I can maybe get away with this. And sure as shit, as it's about to be 2-0 Twins, I believe, right now with Crochet on the mound. That's actually exactly what I wanted. This is great.
No, great. That's great for me. Drafted Crochet very high, but yeah, sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, so it might be a tough start to the week for you here. But no, Stewart looks incredible. He's had a hitter-friendly park. Last year, the numbers under the hood were great. He could be a legit Batman. I really like what I've seen out of him, and I'm glad I took the dive on him.
And to give listeners an idea, Fitz drafted Sal Stewart 12th overall and 189th pick in the draft overall. And then your guy right after Sal Stewart was Isaac Paredes. So Sal Stewart at 189 or 12th overall pick. The way he's been playing, he is playing way above rookie ceilings and rookie limits. I think for knowing as much as you're knowing about guys coming into the league and performing at rookie levels, I would easily say that is your most valuable pick for what you've gotten out of him.
Yeah, he's been good, man. And he may hit a slump or something like that, but I think we have enough depth to be able to ride with any ebbs and flows that he may have. Again, if we have to move Burleson over at first base there for a bit, Burleson has demonstrated to be a pretty good hitter in recent years, so I'm comfortable with that.
And when looking at how you've done so far, you're 3-0 so far in your fantasy season,
Most
right?
Points in the league, I'll have you know, but it's early. It's early.
Oh yeah. No, but it's early. I'm going to come to your house. I'm going to find you. I'm going to dismantle your team player by player. But being ahead early in the season, I say this with the Red Sox all the time, right? Who fell into a losing streak, but like the Rays love to win games early in the season. And that's why they somehow end up competitive year after year, is because they stack their win column. You're right. Before their players start, petering out. So for yourself being 3 wins ahead, do you think that's going to influence how you pick up guys, how you make trades in the league? Because you are starting in the driver's seat.
No, aggressive. I have a pretty tried and true way in this league. If you watch the transaction log, and people
coding
listening
for Yahoo
to this,
Fantasy,
as if they have the app, they can look and see, oh, look who Fitz added and dropped today. But no, I mean, we'll stay aggressive on it. We're open to, if anyone in the league is listening to this, my door's always open to talk trades. I'm always willing to talk a little shop. I don't think I'm an unfair negotiator. I have my values, and I'm not going to try to be like, oh, come on, like I'm not going to like try to weasel you. But I have my set prices on guys and whatnot.
Great. I want Sal Stewart.
Make me an offer if you want Sal Stewart. Make me an offer.
I can give you Logan O'Hoppe, catcher for the Angels, for Sal Stewart. Just 1 for 1. Take it before I change my mind.
In a one catcher league, when I've already got Ben Rice there and Alec Burleson to put at first base, if I were to trade Sal Stewart.
Yeah. No. See, you're fine. So
I'm coming to your house with that offer.
So as far as like the points shook out for this week, obviously really troubling early week for myself in early couple weeks for myself in the fantasy, racked by injuries. Alejandro Kirk went down early. It's looking like he's going to be out for a little bit. Mookie Betts, who was my second overall pick, went down early. He's going to be out for a bit. Carlos Estevez, who had 42 saves last season, immediately blew it up in week 1. He's on my IL.
Yeah.
And then I have
sometimes
my
this
IL
is like
stashes.
you can sit and try to analyze all this stuff all you want. At the end of the day, a lot of this does come down to luck. It just
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yep. And the previous numbers are all we're going to have, right? So you want to take guys, and that's why I grabbed Crochet first, is the strikeout numbers are high, and those are worth points. And he's getting beat up a little bit so far in the season, more so than we saw last season, but kind of what you're looking at, right? You don't know what's going to happen with these guys. You can only make your best guesses based on how they have performed in the past. So with that being said, from your previous week of baseball, who was your best player and who was your worst player?
I mean, it's got to be James Wood, dude. It has to be James.
It's
he almost
unequivocally James Wood.
I mean, he almost put up 50 points by himself. He put up, what is it? I'm pulling it up here. He had 44
points total
on 15 projected. Like, you know, Bubic looked good in his start. Jeffrey Springs has been a good depth piece for the rotation. He got 26. You know, a couple of good streams I had, a couple bad streams I also had, but it is what it is. But no, I mean, it's easily James Wood.
It's easily. I think he had one game last week where he had 24 points, which was insane to me. Sal Stewart for you last week put up 27. Chris Bubic, like you said, Bubic, however you say it, put up 31.
Yeah,
so like you had a few horses. Had a few horses for you.
Yeah.
Who's your worst player last week?
I mean, I failed to say it's Strohan, you know, with him being, that was his, you know, MLB debut. He only pitched a couple of innings, but it was just a stream. Let me see if I could pick up some cheap points here. It was a -5. So, you know, we live with it. In terms of guys who actually consistently played, Matt Liberatore, only 2 points. That's not good. Bellinger, only 4. And you know what? Tie goes to the Yankee. I'll say Cody Bellinger.
A tie goes to the Yankee. Wow, you were the first Red Stocking fan I've ever heard give any credit for a tie going to a stanky.
Well, it was him. It was by virtue of him stinking so much. I will say in this league, and I understand it's a bunch of Red Sox fans and stuff like that. Like this happened last year. I was able to get Manny Machado for a song because no one likes Manny Machado. Neither do I. But like value is value, guys. Come on, you know, I got him like round 4 or 5 or something, and he was great. And you'll sometimes see that with Yankees as well. Bellinger's a good player, but yeah, I mean, 4 points there. That's not gonna, it ain't gonna fly. You're lucky that the team as a whole put up 350. So.
Yeah, and this is where Judge shines, right? Because like we as Red Sox fans look at Judge and we're like, he's only scoring when it doesn't matter. Like on paper, when you pick up all of his points for yourself in fantasy leagues, it really doesn't matter what team that you come from. Guys like Aaron Judge, you're going to draft him very, very high. You're going to start him every single day, whether their points and personalities matter. League. I can't believe he didn't. Can't believe he didn't.
Oh my God, what is happening with this?
Oh, I'm just kidding. I am just kidding. He did go first overall. That's on me. I was looking at the wrong thing. Aaron Judge went first and Juan Soto went second. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So then Ohtani went 3.
I'm doing the dodgeball sound for myself. I've earned it. And then Ohtani went 3 and then Witt went 4.
Gotcha.
For myself last week, little summary, my highest scoring player was Wilson Contreras, who had a phenomenal week, put up 30 points for me, which you love to see that. You want to see more out of those players. My worst performer last week twice was Max Scherzer, because I picked him up once and he scored like a -2. And then it was like forearm tendonitis. And I was like, you know what? Fine enough. Then he went out for the Twins yesterday and he shat the bed, scored a big old negative 14 points. So -16 overall from Max Scherzer for me this week. And it looks like Pavetta for me is about to hit the IL, and Eric Lauer has performed poorly for me twice. So I recently dropped him. To anyone listening, go get Eric Lauer. He's all yours. But a high of 30 from Contreras and a low of -16 from Max Scherzer for myself last week. So it just
happens. Just got to shake it up. Short memory.
Yeah, I got to take him into the clubhouse, have a chat. Guys, we all want to win games. How are we going to win games together? And how can I do that for you? So aside from delivering Gatorades to my fantasy team for the coming week, obviously my favorite thing to do at the end of our short fantasy pods here is your predictions. Who do you think is going to be your best performer? Who do you think is going to be your worst performer, which is a catch-22? I'm going to go first for myself, and I would love to have you cap off the episode after. But based on the team that I am currently running with, I think my best performer this week is going to be Max Fried, because I think I get 2 starts out of him, and he has been working. He has been getting a lot of points for me. So shout out to the Yankees on Max Fried. I think he's going to be my best performer. And I think my worst performer is going to be Adolis Garcia, who I'm going to keep, but I think he's going to post me between -3 and +3 on the week, depending on the strikeouts he gets. So those are my predictions for your coming week. And to cap off our episode, Fitz, who is your best player and who is your worst player, do you think?
Projection.
I would go forecasting.
Worst player. I don't want to pick on him, but
do it.
Vibes are bad in Toronto. Let's just say Ernie Clement. How about that? I don't
Vibes are bad in Toronto. There's a giant cloud hanging over.
Yeah, I mean they're at Milwaukee. Milwaukee's got a good staff. And then they go at Arizona, hard going out west. People forget that. And then because I don't think he has an off day, I'll just it is going to be this is going to be easy. They're playing Colorado to start the week. Then they're at home against St. Louis. Give me Jordan. I think Jordan has himself a week.
Duh.
Home cooking
against
for
Colorado.
The Astros
that's
there.
What? How many home runs are you going to pick up from Jordan in Colorado this week?
Well, no, they're not in Colorado. They host them at Minute Maid. But I was looking to see if I saw those magic letters at COL anywhere. I was like, ooh, baby, Coors, give me some Coors action, but not to be. But it's an easy. It's an easy, Coors on Lansdowne. It's an easy answer, maybe an obvious answer, but I'll say Jordan for my best player. And my apologies to Ernie Clement.
You know what? Total dude. I find most baseball players are total dudes, but sometimes, it's a game built on paper. It's a game built in competition. So sorry, Ernie Clement, but you know what? If that's
someone's
your
prediction,
be the worst. Someone has to be. And you know what? He is making more plays in the infield than I am on a professional level. So good for Ernie Clement on that. Let our friends know any of our friends, fans who don't know how to find Pod on Lansdowne or yourself, tell our fans and friends where they could find Pod on Lansdowne and
absolutely. Yes. You can listen to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Also, we stream every Tuesday night live on YouTube starting at 7:30. You can come join the chat. It's a fun time. The show is at Pod on Lansdowne on Twitter, Instagram, on TikTok. It's pod.on.lansdowne. I'm at FitzyMoPena, and then the 2 rapscallions who ride on my coattails in this league don't do shit for this team. Liam Fennessy _ and at Jake Wally for Mr. Wallinger. And then if you want to see us in person, I mean, I will be at Fenway this Friday and Sunday. So,
yes, I will also be at Fenway on Friday. So let's have a beer. Maybe,
absolutely.
Fuck it. Let's have 2 beers.
Twist my arm, brother.
Yeah. Okay. 2 beers.
Bullpen first actual Fenway Friday of the Fenway Friday night, I should say, of the season.
It's gonna feel good. It's gonna be like high 60s.
We might need it based on how this game's going. 4-0, 30 something pitches for Crochet after 1 inning. Yikes!
Oh no! Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go cry in front of my screen. Start more
mentally
points
preparing for 0-4.
If I go 0-4, we got it. We're
going to change your name to Owen.
No, good. I would please.
Hello, Mr. Four. Please, Mr. Four was my father. Call me Owen 4.
Yeah, call me Owen. Let's hope that's not the case. We're going for our NASP's first win of the season, but until then and until Friday, my friend, best of luck with your up and
Best
coming
luck
matchup.
to you as well into the Believe banner, my friend. Absolutely.
And to the Believe banner. We're coworkers now. I love that.
Yeah, essentially, right? Yeah.
But I love you. No, I love you.
I love you.
Okay, I love you. Bye. No, I love you. Okay,
I love you.
Bye. No, I love you. Okay,